Hey everyone, my name is Anshu Kumar and I'm one of the math experts from QMath. We are the number one math experts community in India and we make learning mathematics fun. We at QMath enable our students to look for the why before the what of a concept, and all our students learn the concepts by themselves just by working on them. So I welcome you all to our channel, the NCRT Class 9 Math, where we will be posting videos on concepts and questions of different topics of this grade. So if you like this video, do share it with your friends, click on the like button, do subscribe to our channel and also click on the bell icon. Also, if you want a live one-on-one session with one of the QMath certified teachers, do check the link in the description to enroll with QMath. And if you register with that link now, you are going to get one free live online demo session with us. So in today's video, let's learn how to factorize polynomials using the factor theorem method. But before we continue with this topic, we've made a video on remainder theorem based on polynomials. I want all of you to go and check that first before you can come back and resume this one. So let's have a quick recap of what is a factor. Let's take two numbers, 27 and 9. If we divide 27 by 9, the quotient is 3 and the remainder is 0. Now, if 27 is completely divisible by 9, it means that 9 is a factor of 27. Let's now apply this to polynomials. Let us use the remainder theorem to divide the polynomial p of x equals x cubed minus ax square plus x minus a by x minus a. Now the first thing what we have to do is to find the root of x minus a. So we'll take x minus a equals 0 or x is equal to a. Now let's substitute this value of x in the polynomial p of x. So we are going to get p of a equals a cube minus a times a square plus a minus a. Upon simplification, p of a equals 0. Now p of a equals 0, it means that the remainder when p of x is divisible by x minus a is 0. It means that x minus a is a factor of the polynomial p of x. Now this leads us to the factor theorem statement, which states that if there is a polynomial p of x such that its degree is either equal to or greater than 1, then x minus a is a factor of the polynomial p of x only when p of a is equal to 0. Now let's see how this statement of the factor theorem help us solve some questions. Let's now work on some of them. So we have been given a question where we have been asked to examine whether x plus 2 is a factor of the following polynomials. Now we'll use the statement of the factor theorem to solve this question. So the first thing what we'll do is we'll find the root of x plus 2. So we'll take x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x is equal to negative 2. When this plus 2 is transposed to the other side, it becomes negative 2. Now we'll substitute this value of x one by one in each of these polynomials. Let's take the first one, f of x. So now in place of x, we are going to substitute negative 2. So f of negative 2 equals twice of negative 2 plus 4, which is going to become negative 4 plus 4, which is going to give us 0. So from here, we get f of negative 2 is equal to 0. So to answer this part of the question, we can say that x plus 2 is a factor of f of x if f of negative 2 is equal to 0 using the factor theorem statement. So yes, x plus 2 is definitely a factor of f of x. Let's now move on to the next polynomial p of x, and let's substitute the value of x equals negative 2 in this. So p of negative 2 equals negative 2 raised to the power 3 plus 3 times negative 2 raised to the power 2 plus 5 times negative 2 plus 6. Now, if we simplify this, negative 2 raised to the power 3 is negative 8. Negative 2 raised to the power 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10 plus 6. If we simplify this further, negative 8 and negative 10 becomes negative 18. Plus 12 and plus 6 becomes plus 18 equals 0. So from here, we get p of negative 2 equals 0. Now again, using the statement of factor theorem, x plus 2 is a factor of p of x if p of negative 2 is equal to 0. So to answer this part of the question, yes, x plus 2 is also a factor of p of x. So for both these polynomials, f of x and p of x, x plus 2 is a factor. Let's now work on the next question. So yes, we have been given a question where we'll have to check whether y minus square root of 2 is a factor of this given polynomial. It's kind of a similar question to the one we have just solved. So the first step is definitely find the root of y minus square root of 2. So y minus square root of 2 is equal to 0, or y equals square root of 2. Now let's substitute this in this given polynomial. F of y equals 7y square minus 4 square root of 2y minus 6. So f of square root of 2 equals 7 times square root of 2 whole square minus 4 times square root of 2 times square root of 2. In place of y, I have substituted square root of 2 minus 6. If we simplify this further, square root of 2 whole square is 2. 2 times 7 is 14. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is again 2. 2 times 4 is 8 and negative 6. So negative 8 and negative 6 becomes negative 14. So 14, negative 14 equals 0. At the end, we get the result that f of square root of 2 is equal to 0. So using the statement of the factor theorem, y minus square root of 2 is a factor of f of y when f of square root of 2 is equal to 0. So yes, y minus square root of 2 is a factor of f of y. Let's now move on to the next question. So here we have been given in the question that we have to find the value of k if x minus 1 is a factor of the following polynomial. P of x equals 4x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x plus k. So here it's already is given that x minus 1 is a factor of p of x. Let's first find the root of x minus 1. So x minus 1 equals 0 or x equals 1. Now to answer this part, we'll take the help of the statement of the factor theorem. So from that, we know that p of 1 is equal to 0 if x minus 1 is already a factor of p of x. Now substituting the values, we get 4 times 1 whole cube plus 3 times 1 whole square minus 4 times 1 plus k equals 0. So in place of p of x, the polynomial we have substituted, in place of x, we have substituted the value of x, that is 1. Now we'll have to solve this equation to find the value of k. So in the next step, we are going to get 4 times 1 cube is 4, 3 times 1 square is 3, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, plus k equals 0. Now to simplify the left hand side, plus 4 and minus 4 becomes 0. And the equation is going to be 3 plus k equals 0 or k equals negative 3. So you just saw that using the statement of the factor theorem, we can even solve questions like this. Let's now see what's there in the next question for us. Now we have been given a question where we'll have to factorize the given polynomial using the factor theorem method. Now let us understand with the help of this question how the factor theorem method works and what is it all about. So basically we'll have to factorize the polynomial, the given polynomial, and let us write a line here. So if we factorize this given polynomial, we are going to get two factors. And since the variable in this polynomial is y, so it is going to be y minus, let us consider the first factor is y minus alpha, and let us consider the second factor is y minus beta. Now we'll figure out how can we find the values of alpha and beta, and then we'll get to the factors of this given polynomial. So first, if we look at this polynomial y square minus 5y plus 6, and if we write the coefficients of y square, y and the constant term, so basically a, that is the coefficient of y square, is 1, b, that is the coefficient of y, is negative 5, c, that is the constant term, is 6. Now we see that The coefficient of y square is 1 and c is the constant term, that is 6. So we'll take this constant term and we'll see what are the different factors of this constant term 6. So basically factors of 6 are, let me list down the factors first. And when we are listing the factors, we'll take both the positive and the negative numbers. So the factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. So basically we'll take plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3, and plus minus 6. And we'll check for each of these values whether they are the roots of this particular polynomial or not. So let us check for the first one. So if we take q of 1 and in place of y in this particular polynomial, we are going to substitute 1. Let's see what are we going to get. So q of 1 means y square, that is 1 square minus 5 times y plus 6. If we simplify this further, we get 1 minus 5 plus 6. So 7 minus 5 is 2. So we didn't get a 0. It means that 1 is not a root of this polynomial. Let's move on to the next one, q of negative 1. So q of negative 1 means negative 1 square minus 5 times negative 1 plus 6 equals negative 1 square is 1. Negative 5, negative 1 is plus 5 plus 6. So as you can see, this is also not equal to 0. Hence, this is also not going to be a root for this particular polynomial. Negative 1 is also not a root of this polynomial. So plus minus 1 is ruled out. Now let us move on to the next one. So we'll take q of 2. So q of 2 means 2 square minus 5 times 2 plus 6, which is going to become 5 square is 4 minus 10 plus 6. So basically we get 10 minus 10 and 10 minus 10 is equal to 0. So yes, this is one of the roots of this particular polynomial. So we can, for our reference, note this value down and say that alpha is equal to 2. So we've got the first root. We'll just have to find the second one. Let us now move on to q of negative 2. So q of negative 2 is negative 2 whole square minus 5 times negative 2 plus 6, which is going to become negative 2 whole square is 4. Negative 5 times negative 2 is plus 10 plus 6. This is also not equal to 0. Hence, this is not one of the roots for this particular polynomial. Now we see that whenever we take negative 1 or negative 2, we get all the terms as positive. So we can specifically rule out the negative numbers which we have taken in the factors. So this is also done. Negative plus minus 2 is done. Now let's look for the next number. So q of 3, whether this is whether 3 is a root of this polynomial or not, and we'll not check for negative 3. You all can try with negative 3 and negative 6, because we already see that when we are taking a negative number, we are getting the terms as positive and we are not going to get 0 for sure. So q of 3 means 3 square minus 5 times 3 plus 6. 3 square is 9 minus 15 plus 6 is going to give us 15 minus 15 equals 0. So we've got the other root of this particular polynomial as well. So basically we don't have to now look for the other roots because we've got the two roots. So for our reference, we can again note this down that beta is equal to 3. Hence, by factor theorem, we got the two factors and we were able to factorize this polynomial. So basically the two factors are y minus 2 and y minus 3. So this is the method of the factor theorem through which we can factorize a given polynomial based on the factors of the constant term. Let's now look at one more question and apply the same method to factorize that particular polynomial. So here we have been given a similar question, but the polynomial is now not a quadratic polynomial, it's a cubic polynomial because the degree of this polynomial is 3. And we'll have to factorize this using the factor theorem method. So we'll resort to the same method. So basically we'll not now list down ABC because we've already seen that if the coefficient of the term with the highest power is 1, then we just can take the constant term. So the constant term in this particular polynomial is 5. Now we'll take the factors of the constant term. So the factors of this would be 1 and 5. That's it. So basically we'll have to take both the signs. So plus minus 1 and plus minus 5. Now we'll substitute these values one by one in this particular polynomial. So S of 1, in place of R, we are going to put 1 first. So S of 1 equals 1 cube minus 3 1 square minus 9 times 1 minus 5. If we simplify this, we get 1 minus 3 minus 9 minus 5, which is clearly not equal to 0. So this cannot be one of the roots of this particular polynomial. Then the second number which we are going to verify with is negative 1. So negative 1 raised to the power 3 minus 3 times negative 1 raised to the power 2 minus 9 times negative 1 minus 5. And this will give us negative 1 raised to the power 3, that is negative 1. Negative 1 raised to the power 2 is plus 1. So plus 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. Minus 9 minus 1 is plus 9 and minus 5. And if we combine negative 1, negative 3 and negative 5, we are going to get negative 9, positive 9, that is equal to 0. So yes, we have got one root, that is negative 1. Let's check for the next number. So S of 5 equals, we take 5 cube minus 3 times 5 square minus 9 times 5 minus 5. If we simplify this further, we get 125 minus 5 square is 25, 3 times 75 minus 45 minus 5. So basically we get 125 minus 125, which is again 0. Hence we've got the other root as well, which is 5. Let's check for the last number, negative 5, because this is a cubic polynomial and there has to be 3 factors and 3 roots. So negative 5 whole cube minus 3 times negative 5 whole square minus 9 times negative 5 minus 5. If we simplify this further, we get negative 125. Negative 5 whole square is 25. 25 times negative 3 is negative 75. Negative 9 times negative 5 is positive 45 minus 5. And if we look at this expression, clearly this will not be equal to 0. And we say that even negative 5 will not be the root. So we have got only 2 roots from the factors, the numbers which we have got. So from here we can say that alpha equals negative 1 and beta equals 5. Now these are the 2 roots we have got. So we'll write this as r minus alpha, and then we'll write r minus beta, and then the third factor would be r minus gamma. So basically based on the numbers we got from the factors of the constant term, we got alpha and beta, but we'll have to look for gamma. So from here in let's write this now in terms of the variable. So basically we got that r is negative 1 and r is 5. These are the two values which we have got. So r plus 1 is equal to 0 and r negative 5 is equal to 0. Now, since these two are the factors of this particular polynomial, if we multiply these two, then we get to a polynomial which is again going to be a factor of this. Which means that r plus 1 times r minus 5 is equal to 0. Now to multiply these two, what we'll do is we'll times r, and we are going to get r square as the first term. Then we'll times r with negative 5 to give us negative 5 times r. Then we are going to times plus 1 and r, and we are going to get plus r. And then the last thing which we'll do is plus 1 negative 5, which is going to give us negative 5, and this is equal to 0. Now, if we simplify this further, we are going to get r square minus 4r minus 5 is equal to 0. Now, definitely, this will also be a factor of this polynomial. So, we'll now use the long division method to get to the third factor or the third root. So, we've taken this polynomial to factorize this. So, let us first look out for the term which when multiplied to r square gives us r3. So, r square times r will give us r3. Now, r times negative 4r would be negative 4r square. R times negative 5 would be negative 5r. And after this, we know that we change the sign. So basically, this becomes negative. This becomes positive. This becomes positive. So this is gone. And then the remainder would be plus r square. And from here, we get negative 4r and negative 5 will come down. Now, r square minus 4r minus 5 times plus 1 will give you r square minus 4r minus 5. And if we change the sign, so basically these three will cross out and the remainder would be 0. Hence, we get the third factor, that is r plus 1. So the first two factors were the values of alpha and beta. So the value of alpha was negative 1, the value of beta was 5. Let's substitute these values here. And if we look at the third value, that is gamma, the gamma is equal to r plus 1. If we find the root of r plus 1, so r plus 1 equals 0 or r is equal to negative 1. So gamma is also negative 1. Let's substitute these values in this particular polynomial to get the factors. So S of r equals r minus 1, then r minus 5, again r minus 1. If you simplify this further, we are going to get r plus 1, r minus 5, and r plus 1. So these are the three factors of this polynomial. So you just saw that a polynomial can be of degree 2, a polynomial can be of degree 1, degree 3. You can easily use the factor theorem to find its factors. So after looking at these questions, the factorization method using the factor theorem would be clear to you. You can try questions from your book using this concept. And if you have any questions, any doubts, any queries, you can post all of them in the comment section below. We'll definitely answer all the questions you have. So if you like this video, do share it with your friends, click on the like button, do subscribe to our channel and also click on the like button and the bell icon. Also, if you want a live one-on-one session with one of the QMath certified teachers, don't forget to check the link in the description to enroll with QMath. And if you go and register with that link now, you're going to get one free live online demo session with us. So that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. So have a good day and bye-bye for now.